Hi, this is the back of my garden and my two rain barrels that come off my roof of my house. The rain barrels have a netting or like a plastic screen on it, and I buy racks from the dollar store and put them in, and that kind of keeps the garbage out of the rain barrel. The rain barrel is on a stand. You should have it 18 inches above the ground so that you get good water flow from your spigot. I hook a hose up. I take the racks out and put them in quart-sized baggies over the winter, or gallon-sized baggies, and then I hook a hose up to the spout to drain it out to my trees in the front. This is a overfill hose that will run out to my garden when it rains really heavy. These rain barrels can fill up in about 20 minutes to 30 minutes, depending on how hard the rain is. This is wing stem. It's a small little, like a sunflower type thing. You can kind of see how big it is to my hand, and you see that the pollinators really love this. It's called wing stem because the stem is rough. And it has like little wings on the stem. The stem is like square. And it is a rough leaf also. It can get this tall, which is maybe about 4 feet. This is about 8 to 9 feet tall here. It does spread by seed. I leave the seeds go for the fall, and they replant themselves. They do have a little bit of a rhizome root ball. This is some of the sundrop or sundrop flower. You can kind of see the leaves are turning red already, and some myrtle. I have some hostas here. These are the ones with the purple flowers. This is something called soapwort. They used to make soap out of it. It has runner roots, and I've been trying to kill it since I came here. And I've kind of got rid of it over there. I do have some morning glory vine growing here on my balloon flowers. This is my other rain barrel. This is the name of the company, mirainbarrel.com, and they're out by Metro Airport. Their rain barrels are about $55 to $60. They come with the spout on them and the drain hose, and they come with this screw-on lid. This is Kiss Me Over the Garden Fence. This drops its seeds in the fall, little black seeds. The cardinals love to chew on the seeds, eat the seeds. So you'll see cardinals, and they'll kind of be hanging on this, trying to get the seeds from it. But if you let it go to seed, you'll get millions of them in the spring. But I really like them. This is a white bell hosta, just blooming now. It blooms a little later than the purple ones. This is more sundrop, so it can grow. It gets some sun back here, but we're in between two houses here. This is a great lobelia, and you can see there is a butterfly getting some pollen on his legs here. This is a great flower for hummingbirds because they can get their little tongues down in that little tubular flower. And that's a native. And it's above between my knee and my waist, so it's probably about 2.5 feet tall right now. This is a marsh blazing star, and the butterflies and the bees really like it. The little brown skipper butterflies are loving it right now. You'll see them in the back. This is swamp milkweed. All milkweeds can be planted in the fall, and then the winter will cold stratify the seeds and break down the seeds so that they can grow plants. Otherwise, if you wait until spring to plant them, you have to put them in the freezer or fridge for a couple days, and then they'll break down so that they can grow. This one is Golden Alexander. It's like a dill. It's in the same kind of family. It gets a gold flower, so you kind of see it looks like a dill type flower. This is a food source host plant for the black swallowtail. So if they don't find like parsley or or dill or carrot or Queen Anne's lace, they'll lay their eggs here. I move, if they were eat all my parsley and my dill, I move them to this plant. This is what the leaf looks like. This is a Japanese maple. When we first moved in here 20 years ago, this had a big round ugly bush in the front here, and then I had 3 big huge bushes that were as high as the porch railing here. And you couldn't even see the sidewalk because they were so overgrown. So my coworker gave me my first Japanese maple and these stones here, and I rented a chainsaw from Home Depot, and when my husband was out of town, and I chopped them down. That was when we first moved in here, first spring of 2000. I killed my first Japanese maple that my coworker gave me because I got too antsy and started trimming all the dead branches off, and then we had a cold snap, and it killed it. Look at, we got a katydid here. Okay. This is a dogwood tree that I got as a twig from one of my garden friends. Oops, I can't turn it on the side. It has white flowers, and it's been in this spot about 4 or 5 years, and it was still pretty thin when we first moved it in here. I replanted it. This is Sweet William. These small little plants that get little white flowers, fragrant. This is spurge. It gets more of a greenish color, really non-flower. This is some more of the soap fruit. This is a woodland Michigan tiger lily. This is cranebill. It is a wild geranium, and this is a woodland poppy, a little yellow flower. I have some rhododendrons here. I'm probably going to rip them out next year. They're not doing too good. They didn't only one of them bloomed this year. This is the Lenten rose. You can see it's got pretty sharp edges. They kind of hurt when you touch them. This is my greenish color one, and the flowers are kind of spent on it already. So they're pretty good this spring. They were kind of a maroon and like little center and green. This is a zigzag goldenrod. So it's kind of airy and light, kind of crazy. This is columbine. This is the native. It's not blooming right now. It blooms in the spring, and it is a red and yellow flower, and the hummingbirds love it. This is not a native. It's a Japanese anemone, but I really like it because it gives me color here. I don't have that much color now that the hostas aren't blooming, and it's airy, and the bees like it, and the pollinators. This other tree here is a yellowbird magnolia, and it has big yellow flowers, and it blooms about 2 to 3 weeks after the pink ones, and the blooms are bigger. And then in July, the last 2 years, I've gotten a lot of blooms up near the top of it. This is the Russian sage. It's a bush. The bees really love it. You can kind of see some bees on it right now, wasps. And then this is the native clematis. It's called Virgin Bower clematis. And this has been here 2 years. This is the first year that it's actually bloomed. I got it just as a little plug from the friend. And it does have a scent. This is the one I had the picture of, that 2 pictures, the one of the flowers, and then the flower after it dies. It looks almost like an old man's beard. And then this is my way station sign and my butterfly sign. And then we have an old bench out here, a marble bench, and looks like tongues. And then I have some roses here, but I also have this here. This is the Joe Pye weed, and the bees and the butterflies love that, as you can see. And the flower's kind of pinkish, and it gets about, this one's about just under my chin, so it's about 5 foot. And then I have some Kiss Me Over the Garden fence here, and some sunflowers that are coming over. And this is some daylilies. And then this is my I'm drawing a blank right now. This is some vines. Wisteria. This is my wisteria. It had some blooms on it. And my wildlife light, my other rain barrel. And then this is the Major Wheeler's honeysuckle. The hummingbirds like that. That one I replaced and put that one in about 2-3 years ago. This is the one, this one and the one next to it are both the same. This is Major Wheeler's honeysuckle. Between these and my other native plants, the hummingbirds have enough to eat without me putting any syrup out for them. And then this is some more of the sun drops, and you can see the leaves are turning red. And then this is our Rose of Sharon. It's about 18 years old. I bought it in a 2-gallon pot. Actually, my sister and I bought one. So hers is a lighter pink. She gave it to me when she moved. And then this one, we cut out a big chunk of it this year. I'm going to probably cut these branches off because they're weighing down pretty heavy. Some of it was dead, and you can kind of see that I have a pair of woodpeckers and their kid from last year that they had, and they've been chewing away at this bark here. And then this is a forsythia bush that we had when we first moved in, and the butterfly bush that was here when we first moved in too. So really there wasn't a whole lot of plants in my yard except for a few of the bushes and the vines. This is catmint. If you have cats, they'll love it. This is some old soapwort and some roses. Then we have some, different kind of building art and yard art. We're going to move kind of fast here. This is sunflowers that are just vining. This is sweet autumn alyssum. Clematis. It's not blooming right now, but I'll show you my part that is blooming. And this is zinnias. So I grew those from seed. I got seeds from the dollar store. This is anise hyssop, which is a mint plant. So you can use the leaves for tea or ointment. These have little tubular flowers too, great for the bees and the hummingbirds. And I leave the seeds because the yellow finches like it. And then this is the tall tixie. You can see how small the flowers are. It's kind of wispy. This one's kind of leaning over because we had that bad storm a couple weeks ago and it's just been kind of flopping. This is Hoary Vervain. Oh, I did want to, let me step back here. I kind of wanted to show you what the whole area looked like. This is where the pool used to be, and this is where the sidewalks used to be. This sidewalk was really thin, and so was this one back behind the house, and it was actually 2 layers of sidewalk. They just paved right over the old sidewalk back here, so it was a lot of work. But this is where the pool was. So the pool was here. We ended up with 36 by 26 or 24 foot area. This is a 10-foot wide patio. This is that tree, and it was right over here before, at the entrance of the fence in the yard. So we're going to come down here a little bit, and this is the native New England aster. It blooms in a couple weeks. This is the other rough blazing star, and you can see the little skipper butterfly on here. They just love this thing. They've been going crazy all afternoon. This bush here is a reblooming lilac, and I'm going to bring you around here so we can kind of see the bloom. I had a couple branches that were really long, and I didn't catch them before they started putting blossoms on, so I cut them all down as they finished blooming. This one lasts a lot longer. As you trim the bush, it'll keep reblooming all summer long. This is a stiff goldenrod, native. This is also a native. It's called turtlehead. The hummingbirds, I saw hummingbirds on here last year. It's kind of like a dragonfly type or a snapdragon type flower. And some more of the marsh blazing star over there. And I also have some some succulents. This is my path to the back to the gazebo. And this is hoary vervain. And then this is the sweet autumn clematis. Isn't that gorgeous? And it smells like gardenias. This is the swamp mallow plant. This is the maroon one. The one I gave you seeds for is the pale pink one, and I'll show you the bud in a few minutes. This is the flower. You can see how big the flower is, and the pink one's just as big, if not bigger. This is my memory garden to my mom. Her name was Violet. This is a violet rose, and it's a special edition rose called Violet's Pride, which is from Downton Abbey character. And this is the wild native geranium. The leaves turn red in the fall, and this is what the leaves look normally, like this. And here's the little dainty flower. You can kind of see it. It's real small. It's smaller than my fingernail. But I also have some posset and some black-eyed, different plants of black-eyed Susan here. This is pink yarrow. This is that bellflower. And I just let these go to seed. They're spreading a little bit, but that's okay. I don't mind stuff spreading. This is that Japanese maple standing under it. This is some of the false sunflower here, and some wing stem, it looks like. Some New England aster, some purple coneflower. This is a milkweed. You can see how big the leaf is. Again, they plant them in the fall. Otherwise, you gotta cold stratify them in the fridge, the seeds. These are the seed pods, and we gave you seeds in your package. These do spread by seed and also by rhizome root. So plant it somewhere you don't mind that it spreads. Otherwise, you can find swamp milkweed seeds, which is a root ball. So that only spreads if you leave the seeds. This is the spikenard. This is really great. Instead of having like an evergreen bush in your yard, the leaves are good. I think it grows 4 feet by 4 feet. So it's really nice and ornamental, and it'll also feed the birds in the fall and the winter, if they leave enough on there. This is another, I think it's called a globe coreopsis, and then some bee balm here, some black-eyed Susan, so you can kind of see it's in shade part of the day. It's in sun most of the day. This is the green-headed coneflower. You can kind of see that the centers are kind of yellowish green. The flowers aren't real big, like a big sunflower, but you'll see the petals are drooping. The leaves are humongous though. This is one of the leaves. So that's why they call it a cut leaf, because it looks like somebody cut the leaf. This is tansy here, and the only thing this flower gets is a little yellow flower head, almost like a center of a daisy. It'll bloom out a little bit more than this. And this is the tall coreopsis again, and it's really light and feathery. The blooms are small with brown centers. When it's windy, they kind of just float in the air. This is the pink hibiscus, or perennial hibiscus, also called the swamp mallow. And this is the color of the pink that you're going to see. And again, the flowers are about the size of a saucer. This was our original area that we put in. This area, when we first moved in, was all sand. There were 2 playscapes back here. This was my first original garden. Some of it's changed around since I originally showed my garden in 2008. And this was all a pool deck. And this was a very narrow path, maybe 2 feet if that wide. Enough to get a wheelbarrow down, and that was about it. But we put this fountain in 2010. And then I have some herbs here. Some dill, some basil, some chives. And there's some eggs from some swallowtail that visited my yard the other day. So this is the path to my gazebo. We put the gazebo in 2009, and we were flooding back here, so we brought in some dirt too. This is the wild senna. This is the one I gave you seeds for. It's pretty much done. It's little yellow flowers with black little centers. This is the bean pods that I gave you. They're still green. I wait till they get brown before I harvest them. This is what it looks like when it first comes off the flower. So it grows bigger as it gets better. The leaves are tiny. This is Culver's root, the white, some mountain net. This is more of the cut leaf, white yarrow. This is jewel weed. This has stuff for hummingbirds. The hummingbirds like this because I can get their little tongues in there. This is my neighbor's property. He actually lets me grow stuff here, milkweed and stuff. This is for the painted ladies. This is Western Pearly Everlasting, and this is a wild petunia here. These say that they grow about 3 feet tall, but I've been growing them in pots, so they haven't gotten that big, and that might be why I haven't seen any caterpillars. But the monarchs kind of keep me busy anyhow. You can kind of see that this is a woodland sunflower, and let me come back out this way so I can kind of show you. You can see that the flowers are as tall as the roof of my gazebo. So they're towering over. So they can get 8 to 10 feet tall. This is the Missouri ironweed. I love this deep purple. And the bees and the little skippers and everybody love this. It does well in the shade here. It gets most of the shade because of the gazebo. More milkweed. You can kind of see this is a fuzzy, hopefully you can see this is a fuzzy stem. And this is what the actual flower looks like. And that's a woodland sunflower. And you can kind of see that it's over my gazebo roof here. This plant's been here since we had the pool. So it's spread quite a bit because I leave the seed pods on because I want the finches and the black-eyed juncos to have stuff. This is a honeyberry, which is similar to a blueberry, elongated, more antioxidants. This is the world milkweed. I don't usually find any eggs or any caterpillars on here, but it gets a white flower. More ironweed, more tixie, and the last flower here, or actually second to last, this is the New England white aster, and it's just starting to bloom. And then this is the Queen Anne's lace.